Okay, we're gonna do session 4 now, and it's gonna be all about Livestream. Livestream is gonna tweak your brain. It's a little bit complicated, but once you learn it, it's okay. So, Livestream goes over here to this computer and gets fed into the Livestream on YouTube and Facebook. So we've set up what's called a bus, which goes to the Livestream, and I haven't really showed you anything about the bus system. This section over here, these 8 channels, are we're using them for the groups. So when I select this top button here, there are these other selections I can make here. Sorry, I go to this group DCA, and that's how I bring up these groups so that I can quickly navigate through these various groups. But there's these other settings. So there's a bus 1 through 8. This is where we can find the monitors. So we do have some on-stage monitors. Let me just quickly zoom in on one so we can see. This box sitting on the floor right there is, let me just point to it. Right there is a monitor. And on the other side of the stage, right there, kind of behind this gold table is a monitor. So sometimes some of the musicians won't have the in-ear monitors, or when we do the full band with lots of instruments, there's a limit to how many instruments can get routed to those in-ear monitors. So some of like the synthesizer and some of the other instruments, the violin, we run out of channels and we can't put them through the in-ear monitors. So we route them to those floor monitors so that they can hear themselves. So the way that we adjust these the overall levels are here. This monitor 2 is the one on the right of the stage. So as I'm looking at it, the right of the stage, and monitor 1 is over here under the piano. So they're both actually turned off today, so I could have just had these volumes completely down because all the musicians had in-ear monitors. I will do a little briefing on how to do the adjustments in the monitor. We can actually do a whole mix that's different than the house into the monitors, which the musicians like, because they sometimes don't want to hear as much of one instrument, but they do want to hear more of the other. Now let me go to bus 9 through 16 on this bank of 8 here. I'm going to just zoom out so you see the overall context of where I am. And you can see now that the colors changed on these and the descriptions. This bus 9 and 10 is the live stream. This is the super important other detail we have to do on Sunday morning is set the live stream. And you can see those reverb and delay channels are actually set up here as buses as well. So we're routing all of the mix that we did from the house goes into these 2 house reverb and delays as the final kind of setting on those. And then that reverb gets added to that sound before it goes out to the house volume. The main here is basically the overall main house volume. And by the way, the first setting we do when we come in is usually to set this to 0, close to 0 or just under 0. And then we adjust these other volumes down so that it sounds okay, but that's kind of our master volume setting that we start with. Okay, live stream. First thing we do when we want to adjust the live stream is we have to select it. So let's select channel 9. These are actually linked together. So if I adjust this volume, the other one trails it, right? So I only have to select one of these channels and it'll basically affect both channels. It's basically a left and a right going to the live stream. There's some very minor things that we can adjust on 9 or 10, like the pan here. This is basically saying, hey, this is the left channel, so give me all left pan, right? And then if I select 10, it'll go to all the way to the right. That's one of the only differences between 9 and 10. So I'm gonna select 9. I always select 9 as my starting point. And what I wanna do is I wanna be able to mix differently from the house all the inputs that are going into the live stream. So for example, the bass player has an amp up here on the stage, that one right there, which actually makes the bass quite loud in the house. And so if we go back to this group setting, you'll notice the bass is set actually pretty low. The bass is here. You know, I have it mixed out quite a bit because the house gets a bunch of volume from the amp on the stage. So if I boost this too much, it's just way too much bass. Same thing with drums. We get a bunch of ambient noise from the drums because the drums are just on the stage. You can see we even have a sound wall around the drums, but there's still so much sound that escapes into the room that it doesn't need a lot of amplification in the house. But when we go to the live stream is not getting any of that amplification from the house. And so we actually want the drums and the bass to have a higher setting in the live stream than in the house volumes. So I want to show you how we do that. So first we select it. Now, I'm gonna just zoom out so you can see. I'm gonna hit this fader flip button. That's the next step that I'm gonna do. And you'll see on the board that all the settings, we're on inputs 1 through 16 here. All these settings are gonna change when I press this input. So what this has done is it said fader flip. I'm now gonna mix everything over here into this bus. So this fader flip tells the board, this mix is now not for the house, it's for this live stream channel. This is a very tricky setting. If this thing is blinking and you're adjusting these and you think that you're trying to fix something in the house and you're going up and down and it's not making any difference at all, you're like, what is going on? I'm going crazy. I'm trying to, increase the volume of the lead singer, for example, and I can't hear any difference when I move this thing like this much and there's no difference. Well, what's happened is you've forgotten that the fader flip is still on and it's actually adjusting the volume to the live stream, not to the house. So whenever there's that situation where it's like, why is this not working? Always remember to come back here and check, oh, shoot, I had the fader flip on. Or it's very easy to like select one of these channels to say, oh, I want to change the gain or something, right? But you go make those changes. And then you're thinking that you're adjusting the live stream, but actually the fader flip is saying, mix everything into that channel, which doesn't even make sense, right? And so you're actually going to be adjusting the house volume or something else accidentally. So you have to make sure this is selected and that the fader flip is blinking. Now you know you're on the live stream mix, okay? If either one of those is not set, you're going to have very strange results. Okay, so at this point, I simply do the same process, except for I don't play with the gain at all. The gain has already been set. I just do the same process of moving these faders so that the live stream sounds right. Now, how do I know what the live stream sounds like? First of all, I'm going to show you this button here. It's called Clear Solo. Okay, I'm going to click on that. Now, the solo button, right here, right above the red here, we have a solo, for example. If I press that solo button, it directs that bus's output or that channel's sound to the headphones that we have. So I'm going to press this. Okay, that means send what's going to 9 and 10 to my headphones. Now let me show you where the headphones are. They're usually just sitting here somewhere here next to the board, right? And then, so I can take the headphones and put them on my head. And now whatever I've selected for that solo is going to go into the headphones. I can control the volume of the headphones here. This phone's level is actually a volume for the headphones. So I can turn it up if I want it to be louder or turn it down if it's too loud, right? So this just affects the volume of the headphones. And that's very handy. Sometimes like someone will have turned it all the way off and then you press the solo button and you're like, why can't I hear anything in the headphones? Well, it's someone turned the volume down. So you just have to turn it back up. We usually have it at about here or at about 9:30 or 10 o'clock. And by the way, the monitor level can be adjusted here as well. Okay, and the other thing is we have this Talkback. I didn't talk about that at all, but there's this microphone here. And if I press one of these buttons, I can actually talk to the musicians. It's very hard for them to hear me from all the way in the back of the room. And so I can press on this, and then I'll talk into this mic. Testing 1, 2, and my voice is actually getting routed into the system. So I can then amplify my voice when I need to talk to the musicians. Usually we only do that during rehearsal. I'm gonna just get that out of the way for now. And this knob here controls, it's almost like the gain for this microphone. So I can control how hot I am in this mic. And so if I'm too loud, I can just turn this down a little bit. And if I'm too soft, maybe it's over here, they won't be able to hear me. I can just turn this up. And it basically makes this mic much more hot if I turn that up. Okay. So now we've got this selected. We've done the fader flip. We're sure that we're on live stream. We've got our mic, we've got our headphones on our head. And then we just come over here and we adjust the volumes. Now, the important thing to know is that this this fader flip will not work if you're on this DCA. So you come over here to DCA and you think, oh, I'm gonna just quickly adjust the volume, which is gonna go into the channel 9. You'll notice here that these do not have any indication that they're going to channel 9. But if I come over here to these inputs like this, I can see that, oh, at the top it's saying channel 14 to bus 9, channel 15 to bus 9, channel 16 to bus 9. It's actually showing me visually in these boxes that my fader flip is on, and this mix is gonna go to channel 9, right? So that's my indicator that, oh, if I change these, it's gonna work. Now, let's say that I select one of these groups thinking, oh, I can come over here to adjust these. Well, what we found is that when you, actually it's showing that it's going to channel 9, so maybe this would work. But I've found that it actually works better if you just select the inputs and then make the adjustments and make sure that it's saying to channel 9. I think maybe that would work if you select a group. It's just the overall mix is never gonna go to channel 9. This only goes to the house. And you can see, even though fader flip is on, none of these say they're going to channel 9. Okay, so that's just one trick about that. And then you just go through the same process. You look at each instrument, look at each vocal list as you're listening in the headphones, and make those fine-tuned adjustments so that you have the same, as close to the same mix as you have in the house, with the primary lead vocal being the most easy to hear, kind of like the loudest, the lead instrument, and then the fill-in with all of the other instruments. And you'll notice here, if I go back to channel 9, fader flip, I'm gonna go to the second bank of 17 through 24. You'll see the drums are actually much higher there, and the bass is actually going into there as well. And probably this could have been up just a little bit more. And that is how we do the live stream. And always remember, always, when you're done with the live stream, just undo the fader flip. That's like one of the hardest mistakes to recover from, is when you've accidentally done a bunch of changes with fader flip on, thinking that you're changing the house. So just remember to always change that fader flip back to being unset when you're done. Okay, so that's how you do the live stream. We'll do a couple more sessions, but that takes us up through video number 4. Thank you.